Hey, 4xE fans, wanted to share some news with you that I just kind of discovered myself over the past couple days. And that's that Samsung SDI, which is the manufacturer of the battery in the Wrangler and Grand Cherokee 4xEs, has issued a recall on the batteries. Now, this is kind of weird to me. That was done back in early February, and there's been no communications with customers in any way, shape, or form. And Samsung has said that the manufacturers will handle the recall. And I have a feeling Jeep's handling of that is just going to be the continuation of the 95B recall that is going on, or that has been going on. And that's all well and good, but here's where I struggle with corporate honesty when it comes to these recalls. Samsung and Stellantis and Jeep, in all of their different announcements, have said that this issue is going to affect less than 1% of batteries. Some of us who are a little bit too nerdy for our own good have been tracking some of the data that has been coming out of people that have gone through the 95B recall. And our numbers are close to 20% that have already had to have batteries replaced. Now, sometimes that's at the point of the recall. You know, they do the recall, they do the software, they do the drive test, check engine light comes up, and they say, hey, you need a battery. Sometimes that's when the person is driving the vehicle home. Sometimes that's 200 miles later. Sometimes that's 500 miles later. But all of those are the result of the new software that's gone into place. They are all throwing the code that says that the battery in the back has an irregular voltage thing going on, which could lead to thermal runaway, which could lead to a fire, which is probably all the result of the bad separator issue that's going on. Now, I got to tell you, I just wish they would be honest about it, and I wish they would be very forthcoming and very aggressive in dealing with the recall. It just seems like we keep kicking the can down the road with the recall and with the issues, and Samsung issuing this and saying that it was only going to affect 1%. Well, their number was 155,096, so that's 1,500 Jeeps. I don't know if we're already at 1,500, but I would say the sampling that we have is indicating close to 20%. So I don't know if we're being misled or if their tracking of their data is incorrect, but there's definitely an issue with these batteries. And I have said it in previous videos. I'll say it again. I really feel like we've got an issue that is going to create long-term issues. And I really feel like Jeep, we should be seeing some extended warranties or something. I mean, it's just not right that that Jeep is not handling this better, or Stellantis or Samsung or whoever. When I see that 1%, knowing what we've already found, I get a little upset. I got a little aggravated when I see that 1% in the article I was reading, because I know that's not the case. And so I just wanted to share this information so that you know. Also, I uploaded in a previous video, some people aren't aware that new software that goes in doesn't fix the battery. If the battery has an issue, it doesn't fix it. All it does is make the software better at giving you a warning that there's an issue. And so if you took your Jeep in for the 95B with the fear that you had a bad battery, assuming the recall process fixes that, it doesn't. And I really question how many of these batteries are at issue, and time will only tell on that. That's the only thing about that, is only time will tell what these batteries are going to be like. So I'm curious. Well, you know, I'm recording this on March 1st of 2025. Here in a couple of months, we're going to go through a warm period in the United States and Canada, and I'll be curious to see if what happened last year during the warm months, we saw a big increase in bad batteries. My battery went bad, and that was even before the 95B recall. I started seeing performance issues. I started seeing degradation. I was looking at it with the JScan app and watching the state of health drop over time. And I hear from other people, they describe the symptoms just like what I was experiencing, where they're losing range. The range gets down to like 15 miles. The system it like gets caught off guard when the battery can't perform the way the system thinks it should, and will like all of a sudden start the engine. It's like you're pushing your foot down the accelerator, it's not responding, and all of a sudden the engine kicks on, and you see noted performance differences. You see small hills that the previous year Jeep climbed right up it in electric mode, no problem, but now all of a sudden you hit that little hill and the engine starts. So that was going on before the 95B to a lot of people. And of course, now that the 95B people are getting the recall done, they're finding that issue. But here's the other fun part. As of I want to say like end of January, only like 15% of 4xe owners have had the 95B recall done. People aren't rushing in to get the recall work, which I think is scary. As a person who cares about other people, I'm alarmed by that. But what some people have come to understand is that the 95B recall causes issues, so they're avoiding it. They're putting it off. And what some of us have been trying to communicate is like, it doesn't cause issues, it diagnoses issues that are already present that you just don't know about. And we've been trying to get that out. So if you know somebody in your life that has been avoiding that recall, please don't, because there have been a couple people that have had fires that I know of. I mean, there could be more, but I know of at least 2 that had fires that were waiting and putting off that 95B and hadn't had the 04B either, which includes the same software updates as B9A, which was also some software to better tie the bridge between the battery being able to communicate and throw a check engine light and all that stuff. So there's really been 3 recalls to deal with this issue. Not everybody was on the B9A, but I'm thinking all Jeeps should have been. I think that was an error. I think that was a complete mistake. I think that was bad data that led them to thinking only a certain number of Jeeps had that issue. And I think, when I pulled out the letter for my 04B and it said something about B9A, it mentioned it. I'm like, or not, I'm sorry, 95B. The letter for 95B mentioned B9A. And it just tells me there's issues. There's conversations going on behind the scenes that we aren't privy to. And I really feel like Jeep needs to be more transparent with owners on this issue, not to fearmonger, but just to let them know what's really going on. And this latest recall from Samsung just kind of reinforces that. There's something going on. I think they're just putting off the inevitable that all these batteries are going to be an issue. And, time will tell, of course. I have a new one as of June or July of last year. It's still at 100% when I look at the state of health via JScan. So that's a good thing. That's very promising. We'll see at the 1 year mark what that looks like, and I'm going to keep track of that going forward. So just wanted to share some of this information if you hadn't heard it, that Samsung has issued that recall. How it plays out, I don't know. I don't know if it's just going to be continuation of what Jeep is already doing, or if Jeep is going to do something else. But this is at least affirmation of what some of us have already felt, that there's a bigger issue going on, and I think Jeep and Stellantis need to get aggressive before something bad happens or somebody gets hurt. I think they just need to bite the bullet and make it happen. Thanks for watching. Take care.